Reawaken to your immortal identity and discover life between life's wisdom. Presented by the Michael Newton Institute.
Hi, folks, and welcome back to another wonderful episode. I have with me here in the Michael Newton Institute's Wisdom podcast series a very, very special guest, Marion Boon. Her first and most important introduction for me personally, she's my teacher. I learned transpersonal regression work under her guidance and her mentoring and tutoring. And I'm deeply grateful that Marion has shared this moment, this particular time that she's going to gift me in this podcast series. Marion, dear friend, is someone who's globally known because she's one of the pioneering heads of the Tasso Institute. She's been teaching over so many years now. She's a person who teaches in multiple languages. There's German, there's Dutch, there's Spanish and English. Marion is a person who's written books, who's contributed to others' writings as well. She's a person who many of us across the world will recognize as a person who has contributed and is continuing to contribute in the world of therapy, counseling, healing, facilitation of so many of us souls who are wanting to experience spiritual consciousness, grow, evolve, and most importantly, I think, connect to our own life purpose. Marion, a very, very warm, loving welcome to our podcast today.
Thank you, dear Indrani. Thank you. It's good to see you and it's good to be here.
I know, it's so good to see you. Marion, I've been loving this term that you had shared, and I want to start today with asking you to share. Uh, when you speak about love and light, and then logic and life, there's so many L's floating here. Uh, can you elaborate for our viewers today when we speak about these words? We all want to be in that space of love and light, but logic plays a very, very important role, and in that balance, in that polarity and duality of human existence, logic, yeah, logic has got to be there. But I'd love to know what your thoughts and observations are. Please share.
Yes, thank you for asking that, Indrani. In the New Age time, everybody was talking about love and light, and it's beautiful because we need the love, we have the love. We need to understand our own light. What is light? Light is consciousness, light is being present. Light is also that you shine your light, that you share it with others and others feel your presence. But in the therapy, regression therapy is very much solution focused. We take one time topic, piecemeal engineering, and we want to solve that. The client is able to get there and solve this little thing, which then obviously is connected to a lot of other stuff that is suddenly released and also healed when you take this real one core issue. So I found that we are working towards understanding. When a child is beaten by a drunk father, the child doesn't understand. There is no logic in it. He's a sweet child, he's a good boy, and yet this happens to him. He's not safe, all the drama and the misery that can happen in a dysfunctional family. But once the adult gets the logic of the drama of his father and the alcohol that made him not being himself, so he can beat and then afterwards apologize, the adult can see it is absolutely terrible. But now that I see the logic, I can live with it because it's over, it's past. I take my inner child out of that past into the present, and then automatically there is a kind of no issue anymore, forgiveness to the father, but this adult can defend himself. He understands the logic. So logic is what we need in order to be able to let things behind. We cannot live in the now if we are stuck to the past. And in order to get out of the past, you need the logic. Why is mother never present? Why is mother never listening? And then the adult of today discovers mother is using antidepressants. She's simply not there. She's in a cocoon of vagueness. And this baby child is trying to get attention and real attention from the mother, but mother cannot handle her own life. And then later, after so many years of psychoanalysis, where honestly, the psyche is not in the psychoanalysis. If you don't believe in a soul, then there is no psyche. So the talks have already happened. People are addressing their childhood terrors, but it's not over yet. And then they come to do a regression therapy, where you really address, where you dive into the experiences and you get the logic of the situation. And when that is healed, you have back your light. And then love can stream. And then we can heal the family line. And then we can heal mother from things she was never able to process. So the higher perception of the soul is there, but the layer is covered by the mist of whatever heavy medication or alcohol or a collective pollution like war. That is a collective pollution. And in our days, the television, the hypnosis of the television, it's all distracting. So we live in challenging times. And I put in the logic in it. We are beings of love, light, and logic. Because when I understand it, I can live with it. And the side effect is I can take responsibility because, hey, there's a logic here. I need to act. I can't hide anymore behind being unable or whatever. No, if I'm not able, I have to face it and say it. But if I am able and I don't know what, you can also express it. There's a logic. That's how we learn from each other. Thank you for asking, because I really found that this topic of logic was not put in the light as much as the love.
Yes. Marion, I'm so grateful you shared this because I was having a conversation with a client of mine, actually a couple of clients, and I brought this up that, when we talk about feelings and emotions, and people use the word truth quite a bit. And in my humble understanding, truth is subjective because truth is a perception. And at the moment when you have perceived something which you then filed in as a truth, then that truth becomes your reality because you believe that. But if you go into the realm of fact, as you said, go into the logical questioning or logical understanding, then the mind of the individual as an adult, the moment you go into the realm of fact finding and you become a factualist, if I'm using the right term, then a factualist would be someone who then has the ability to disassociate. And disassociation helps you to understand the emotions you went through. You understand whatever pain you may have gone through at that time. As you were saying, the inner child was needing to probably be heard by the adult or acknowledged by the adult. But yes, logic plays a very important role because then the love and light that we're talking about, I would think, is more authentic. Otherwise, people use those words a lot these days. You see in social media so much of this love and light, this and love and light. And I always say that is it just the froth, or you really, really going into the understanding of what is light. Because light
Yeah.
can be brightness, but light is also buoyancy or being without the heavy toxic emotions and energies.
Yeah, absolutely true. Speaking about truth, I resonate to it. Maybe that is better said.
Yes.
So, what is truth? In philosophy, you have the tables of truth, and then they very logically analyze what truth is. But truth, you know, is what resonates. If somebody says something and I am touched by it because I don't agree, I don't have a poker face. I can feel it. And it would be truth to my feeling if I express it. And I will not say you are wrong, but I will say I feel it as a different happening or event. So in therapy, when you're exploring in the regression, you know, the method is you go back in time to the first time you experience this, or to before the first time where you are still good. So from this moment when you are good, you can anchor the person in himself, and from there you continue to the change in life. This is one of the methods we use in regression therapy, Tasso method, but this is a solid way to anchor in as much truth as we can find. So here is a child who feels good, and then you go on in time to a moment of change. Then the change may be that something really bad happens, and the child, who is the adult on your sofa, does not want to blame the parents for beating him, or the child may be loyal to somebody who abuses him. And that goes far. We know this. This is the problem with the sexual abuse and emotional abuse. So it's difficult to see. At that moment, my voice might interfere with the client, saying, we are not judging. We are looking at the facts. We are detecting what happened and respecting what happened to you in the past. Because a part of you knows it's over, and another big part is still in it. So we will respect what you went through. And now with your adult eyes, you look, and the child can tell you what happened. And then the story unfolds. So we have detected, respected, and inspected. Then we know more of the facts. And it helps a client with respect to the person of today. I'm not forcing them to see anything they don't want to see, but I am doing what I am trained in and what I have noticed and learned that is the value of the soul. The soul needs to speak. So the soul offers through the subconscious images that you don't understand immediately, incidents that happened, events that need to be explored. So we follow with all these given information, all these given facts, without conclusions. The big thing I have seen with more amateuristic people learning this work, or people who haven't learned it and work from their heart, but that can be quite amateuristic, it can also be good, that they do not explore in the proper way. They see, for instance, that the child is naked in the bathroom and an adult enters. You know nothing at that moment. It may be your grandparents bathing you, and it may all be beautiful. There may be nothing wrong because, hey, naked people are not per definition in a bad position. But when the child feels something threatening, that is the thread you follow. And then you find out that something happened that shouldn't have happened. Then you can look from the spirit level, which in the Michael Newton Institute is, of course, the topic that they are very well specialized in. You look from a higher perspective down, and you see and you witness and you have an overview. And then you go back in the child who feels the fear. Then you take the child out into the life of the present day adult, because we live in the now. But that adult cannot live in the now when the child is still stuck in that bathroom. So, yeah, we want to live in the now. Hey, yes. But when I'm still stuck in the past, I'm not really present in the now. And that means I will also not be present in my future. We look at the facts and we do not judge before time. You can judge or get your conclusion after the session. And I've seen sometimes that the conclusion is thought for at a too early stage. So the conclusion might be that somebody has abused the client as a child. But when you research more and in the after having explored everything, then you find out that the fact is the moment was there. Something threatening was felt, but it did not happen. Because in my example, the grandfather was in the bathroom helping his granddaughter. And for a short moment, he sees this little body, the little female body. And for a short moment, he was too curious and he corrected himself. And he thought, what am I doing? This is a child, come on. So he corrects himself, but the child got the intention. And that made her on guard. So yes, there was something there, but it was not as bad, fortunately, as the client thought. And this was healing for her because she did not understand all these on guard feelings that she had, which was not really necessary anymore. Now, this is an innocent example, but this happens quite a lot. Adults go over the boundaries of children, of babies, because they do not really understand that the baby is a wise spirit that has been here before in a very small, vulnerable body. We need respect.
Yeah.
So your comment on facts and truth, that is really a very important point in our work in regression therapy. We want to know exactly what happened because we need to know what you thought, what you felt, what you went through to really respect it. And then we need to know that it is over. It's done. Of course, it's not over until you have the logic. What does that baby decide? What does that little girl decide? She may decide, I cannot trust men. Well, that can be hurtful in the rest of your life. It is influencing her relationships. She keeps men at a distance. It's okay to be cautious every now and then, but not always.
True. It's true because especially with sessions of this nature, actually I have seen people overcome many patterns, especially if it's a repetitive one where they've gone into a cyclic pattern of maybe unhealthy relationships or something which is considered unhealthy as a pattern in the relationship itself, or multiple relationships. And many times these are those those aha sessions which completely can change the dynamic of an individual's relationships and so on.
Yes,
Marion,
it does.
Isn't it? I'm very curious. In today's day and age, when we talk about duality, if I could, speak from a very simple perspective, human life itself has polarization, and therefore, from time immemorial, we understand the whole concept of the good and bad, the right and wrong, the light and dark, and so on. But what, in your perception, or what your observations are when we think about the term duality, especially in a therapeutic space?
Yeah. I would say, considering the curriculum of the Tasso trainings, this is the third part where you go into the transpersonal soul therapies. In the beginning, you do the training of the method, techniques, inner child work, releasement of obsessive entities and family charges, burdens, legacies. But duality, for such, it's very interesting you bring this up. We live in duality. And duality has beautiful sides. Not only we learn to take our boundaries, to put our boundaries, to make choices, we have to. I can do this, I can do that. If I do this, I will help somebody else, but I lose my own time, maybe. And if I do that, I choose my own time, but that one is in need and I wouldn't feel good. So choices. Duality is what we live in. The soul, however, that we are connected with and that partly is in us, has no time, has no duality. It has oneness. In the oneness, where you can go and visit, you're in it, you're connected, everything is interconnected. But especially what Michael Newton was teaching us, you can deliberately go there to that level and to that field of consciousness. Be in it and then examine, why is this repeatedly happening to me? What do I miss? What do I have to learn? The overview of that soul level, oneness, the beauty of the oneness. Some people say, I don't want to go back to my body, to my today's life. Well, then we can use the beautiful techniques of Fritz Perls, Gestalt. Then we say, take in that feeling of the oneness, completion, wholeness, peace. And now you go in the body, you bring that energy with you. Wow, how does your present day body feel about finally feeling this? Now, in this body, we are in duality. I need to defend my body. If there is a car coming, I need to step aside because I occupy space. My space is vulnerable. If people are invading my space with nasty remarks or whatever, I need to put my boundaries. I can address them and say, hey, what is the matter? Can I learn from you? Or I can say, okay, this is totally not applicable to me. This is your own thing. So you put your boundaries. We are living in time and space because we came down from the oneness to learn. And apparently a way to learn, it's a practicality to live in duality.